I was just reading an email from a couple of friends of mine who live down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. They were directly in the path of Hurricane Katrina. They're saying here that they have lost everything. So to give you an idea of what that means to them and so many other people down in that area, I'd like to go back and start at the beginning of the story. Commercial fisherman Tim Tillman and his wife Yvonne dock their own shrimp boat in their backyard here in the town of Bay St. Louis. Now, during the shrimping season, the Tillmans sell a good part of their catch right here on this very pier. So they've asked me to help them build a gazebo where they can market their shrimp in style.
When we have customers a special order, some of them want them deheaded. Well, they have a place they can sit down too, you know, and get out of the nets while we dehead their shrimp and prepare them the way they like them, you see.
Okay. I have to admit, building a gazebo as a shrimp buyer's waiting room and a shelter from gnats is a new one for me. But before I had the chance to mull that over, the Tillmans' gazebo is being delivered from their local home improvement center. The gazebo arrives in 3 large crates. It's a kit from a company called Handy Home Products. Now, this may look intimidating, but it's relatively easy to assemble. Each piece is pre-cut to size, and pilot holes are all pre-drilled. But for you guys, first decision is, do we want this up to the edge of the deck here, or do you want to set it back a bit? What are you thinking?
Well, we thought maybe if it's set off a little bit, well, we'd still give us room to work on our boat and walk around it,
Walk around it, okay. So what do you think? Maybe back, something like this? Couple of feet, that gonna give you enough?
Yeah, so that'd be fine.
Okay. That's gonna push us off even more to the other side, but we can deal with that. That's no problem. All right, guys? These 10 rim sections form the perimeter of the gazebo's deck. We attach them together with 3-inch rust-resistant screws. Our 12-foot wide gazebo is going to overhang the dock by a few feet. We'll deal with that by installing some support posts later on. All right, guys, the rim's done. You can sort of think of this like the spokes of a giant wheel. These spokes are the joists on which we'll install the deck or floor of the gazebo. We'll attach one end of the joist to the rim and the other to this center block.
Give it some juice, Timmy.
Push it hard.
Go, Timmy, go.
Go, Timmy, go.
Okay, great. Okay, well, that takes care of our flooring system, guys. Now, over here, of course, where we've had to cantilever out over the edge of the deck, I've just put in some 4x4 posts, clamped them to the rim joist right here, and set everything on these concrete blocks. So this is going to be our support system over here. Okay. So we're ready to put some decking down. This does.
Okay.
If you want to, I'll just carry this over. We can. You guys, why don't you guys come over and I'll hand it to you so you can drop it in. These are all pre-nailed, kind of pie-shaped wedges here. Okay, if you eat on each side, maybe it should just drop right into that. Each one of these sections here. That's pretty slick, huh? While Tim and Yvonne have been laying the floor sections in place, I've trimmed our support posts and am now attaching them to the rim with galvanized nuts and bolts. Last section, guys.
Last piece.
Put it in there.
There we go.
Just like a piece of pie, okay? Finally, I drop a cover over the center block while Tim and Yvonne attach the individual floor sections to the rim and joists with screws. Floor's done. Walls next. Now that's going to go up, and these are in sections. These are really nice. They're lightweight. They're chamfered on the ends here, so they'll sit up here on the edge of the deck like this. Okay. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be screwing these sections together on the edges right here first, work our way all the way around. Okay. And then we'll attach it to the deck, all right? Okay. Well, it looks like Tim and Yvonne have the hang of this, so I'm going to sneak off to check out Tim's latest catch.
I wonder where Rod's at. Oh, hey, Carmen, look, well, now we know where he's been.
Look what I found. That's a bag of oysters. That
That
must be a 100-pound bag of oysters up there. And I figured I just got to try this out. No?
Go Ron.
Hot dog, that's a Louisiana man there. Oh, yes, indeed.
Here,
You guys have been making a lot of progress here.
We knew we had something in common,
I think we have a few things in common.
yeah.
So you got all the wall sections up. This is the door frame? Yeah, this is the door frame.
Yeah. Now what about this? Are we going to have to step over this?
Yep. No, I'm just kidding you. This is just temporary. This will come out once we get the frame set.
Oh, okay.
Just to keep everything together now.
Okay.
And you're going to we'll put the other door, I think, on the other side of the dock over there.
Uh-huh.
All right.
So
Hey, I don't want to hold you up.
Well, I know where we can find you at now.
Yeah, over at the oysters.
At the shucking table.
Carry on, lads and lasses.
All right.
After I've had my fill from the backyard raw bar, I rejoin Tim and Yvonne and help them put up the final few wall sections.
Now we've screwed all these sections together along the edge, but what's really going to give them their strength is this piece of wood right here. It's called a gusset. It goes right across the joint here. This one happens to be cut on an angle to follow the angle of the gazebo here. And all we're going to do is we're going to lay this in place like so, and take some screws and screw it right into the top of the frame here.
With our gussets in place, we're ready to start putting the roof together. We'll actually begin our assembly on the deck.
This is the first part of the roof. These are our first two rafters right here. And like the floor down here, we're going to attach them to this center block right here. So guys, what I need you to do is lift them up so that they're a little bit further, Tim. A little bit further. Right there. That's good. Okay, let me put a screw in here. Okay, guys, we're going to come up with it, flip it over. Probably have to go under your brace there, hon.
We drive in a couple more screws and are now ready to raise the roof.
All right, now for the fun part. We got to go up on the roof. I'll hold this, guys. Why don't you get on the ladders, and I'll hand it up to you.
It takes a little maneuvering between Tim and Yvonne to get our first set of rafters placed squarely on the gussets. Then we secure them in place. In all, we'll put up 8 rafters, securing each one to both the gusset and the center block.
Roof sheathing. Rafters are up.
We set these pre-cut wedge-shaped plywood sheathing panels on top of the rafters, then attach them with 6-penny galvanized nails.
Well, the sheathing's up. Time to make this watertight. This is 15-pound roofing felt. I'm going to put this on top, starting down here at the bottom first.
We staple these sheets to the plywood sheathing, overlapping each row about 6 inches. Next, Tim and Yvonne install a metal drip cap around the edge of the roof to keep water from seeping into the plywood sheathing.
Well, as the sun is sitting over the bayou, I think we should put some shingles up here. This is the starter course, Tim, right here. So we're going to flip these over, put the top side of the shingle down.
The starter course is applied face down along the entire edge of the roof.
Now, with that first shingle down, bottom side up, if you will, we're going to go back and we're going to put right on top of that the first course of shingles with the grit side up.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, and the same holds true for gazebos. So the next morning, Tim and I pick up where we left off, and before coffee break, the rest of our shingles are up. Next, Tim encloses the space between the roof and the wall panels with a piece of wood called a fascia board.
Yvonne.
Yes.
This is the sill. It goes right on top of the railing up here. Just sits right in like this.
Okay.
And if you do this one over here, just run the screws right in. Just 2 screws per sill.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and put these screens up. Now, there's a screen panel already made up for each section of the gazebo. It just sits in place like this, and it's held in place with about 6 screws.
Finally, it's time to sit down, relax, and enjoy this waterfront gazebo.
What do you think?
Great. I'm just absolutely thrilled with it.
I thought maybe coming out of a kit that it wouldn't turn out like this, but it is. It's very durable.
Nicely made, went together fast. I'm a little on the hungry side.
You hungry for shrimp?
Fresh shrimp?
You know a good place?
Well, I know a place where you can catch them, and they're very fresh. And we also have a #1 cook to cook them. And that's only but one place, and that's on our boat.
Come on.
Come on.
Can I steer?
The promise of fresh shrimp is all that's needed to get me on board.
Wow, look at this. Look at this.
As we pull away from the dock, I catch yet another view of a fine-looking addition to this Mississippi inlet.
I really enjoyed the time that I spent with Tim and Yvonne. They had a wonderful life down there on the Gulf Coast until Katrina hit. Fortunately, they survived, but that gazebo that we built together, well, it and many other things did not.
By the time Hurricane Katrina slammed into the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Tim and Yvonne had taken their shrimp boat 15 miles up the Pearl River and were riding out the 150-mile-per-hour winds. Rising waters began to cover mooring lines, threatening to pull the boat underwater. The winds on the backside of the eye wall were even more furious, seeming to lift the water off the surface and hurl it sideways. When the storm finally passed, Tim and Yvonne made their way downriver and were stunned by what they saw. Finally, they reached home.
This is our neighbor's house. What's left of it. This was our yard. This is what's left of our house. At least we're alive.
While the dock where we built the gazebo is now barren, I have no doubt that one day visitors will once again sit comfortably inside another such spot while they wait for their shrimp.